pleasure, pain, sunshine, rain, setbacks, gain, so many setbacks, man. My life, Lord, what a ride. Trouble but blessed, so is that my pride? I can't decide, I'm missing my mother, now that's for sure. Broken hearted, asking myself, how could you leave me? And only for my childhood years, needed your presence, your essence. Ain't no love in these streets, one of many unfortunate lessons. I'm guessing time heals all, but still, while wondering who came up with that phrase, that's contrary to how I feel. Nobody love for life, but it's missing something. You, mama, holding my son while shedding tears, only if he knew. Blue skies today, dark skies at night. Metaphorically perfect, describing all birds right. Now I smile at times, cry at others. My baby still missing his mother, though I'm grown. Now mercy, big brother, I never knew love. You wasn't there to teach me. My baby mama so distant now, cause she couldn't reach me. Yeah.
If I could change the way that I feel, I will. But it's so hard without you being here. Without you being here. All of my life I needed you there. Yeah. I needed you there. Without a doubt I know that you care. Yeah. You care.
I'm passionate though, careful to ration it properly. Credit that to my past, intent on stopping me though. My wisdom and knowledge sublime. I'm gambling, shooting dice with my demon side, betting on if they lying, cause I'm blinded by truth. Observing the moment, evoking my inner beast, and he had to shout, he know it's curdy opponent, but don't, cause nobody wins in the end. And your grandson got arrested for murder, but he your man standing on 10, and I'm praying for him, praying for them. All life caught up in this matrix, unaware that we in a sim, but I've seen it before. The old heads rock, though advanced in time. We tell time with reverse clocks. Please pardon my ramble, this one about you. Hoping you come through. Tell me you miss me, love me, kiss me, and tell me to fight. Cause you know I'm a fighter. And tell the enemy we going the distance and all nighter. I want the title,
If I could change the way that I feel, I will. But it's so hard without you being here. Without you being here. All of my life I needed you there. Yeah. I needed you there. Without a doubt I know that you care. Yeah. You care.
Hey, mom, it's me, too. Your baby boy. Yeah, I'm all grown up now. Yeah, it's been a long time. I was just sitting there thinking about you, so I decided to put together a few words for you. Yeah, I wish you was still to see your grandson. He getting big. You know, mom, but until we meet again, you know, I love you.
If I could change the way that I feel, I will. But it's so hard without you being here. Without you being here. All of my life I needed you there. Yeah. I needed you there. Without a doubt I know that you care. Yeah. You care.
Yes, sir. So it's top of the morning, Thursday, June 4th. About 2 hours east of Denver, Colorado. So yeah, man, we're gonna jump right into it. So this video is actually a video that I'm not really too happy to be making. It's one of those type videos where when you thinking about it, it's kind of like it goes against a certain morale, like that we was taught from a very young age. You know, even in elementary schools, there were teachings about not being a tattletale and stuff like that, and Then as you get older, you start hearing the snitches get stitches and all that kind of stuff, and you just don't really want to be that person. But I think it comes a time where it's like, you realize that you're not really, you know, being treated fairly. Like, you're not in a fair fight. It's kind of like, if you were a boxer, but your opponent, he has plaster of Paris in his gloves. He's taking performance enhancement drugs, on steroids, and he got some stuff on his that they wipe it on his gloves, so when he punch you in the face, it get in your eyes. So it's just a no-win type of fight. This person is, gonna be faster than you, hitting harder than you, and then he got something in his hands, in his gloves, to make the punch even harder, and he got something on the gloves to blind you. So it's like it's a no-win situation. It's like, a sprinter, you on 100-yard dash and for the Olympics, and you get a Marion Jones type of situation where someone just way ahead of everybody else, and it's clear that something up. And, that's just kind of how I feel, man, with this situation right now, with this truck that I purchased last year at the end of 2024. Basically picked it up and around mid-February of last year. So after I had bought the vehicle, I think I mentioned in a previous video that I let the truck stay at the international sales and service dealership, whatever you want to call it, in Shreveport. Because I was kind of naive to the onboarding process with Landstar. I didn't know how long it was going to take, and at the time, I didn't really just want to go and get the truck and bring it back to Baton Rouge, because I was living in an apartment. So that was like an issue with me trying to find somewhere, safe parking and secure parking for the truck. So I felt like I would just leave it at the dealership, start the onboard process with Landstar. Once all that got taken care of, then I would just go and get the truck and go straight to orientation from there. But because the process took so long, and Landstar needed so many different things, I had to eventually go and get the truck. So from the time I had basically sent the down payment, which was like in December of 2024, and all the paperwork was finalized around January 16th or something. The truck sat there for like another month, like February like 16th, 17th, before I got it. And right out the gate, so it was actually again the first time I ever saw the truck in person. I had started off looking at the truck in around like November, December 2024. It was a piece of crap when I first saw it, but the salesman, assured me that that's how all those trucks look that we see when they be online on the websites. Most of them, they use trucks and then they take them and they recondition them and inspect them and clean them up, and then they post them online. So you see a truck that has already been, dressed up. And once my truck get the same process, it would look the same. The truck had like it had like two mixed match, mud flaps, and it had a cabinet inside in the sleeper area that wasn't there, that was missing. You can clearly see it was missing. It just looked at, dusty or whatever. So after they finally cleaned it up, it, he had the matching mud flaps. They put the cabinet back inside and they washed it, and it looked decent. So I was satisfied with it. They said it had been inspected, everything was good. They did all whatever they gonna do on it. So I thought it was good, but no need for me to go and be extra. That was my mistake, but I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. But I'm just saying that the truck that I eventually got, was supposed to be a 2021 International. It had 450,000 miles on it, I think it was. This was the LT 625 model. It had the Cummins X15 engine in it. So, I'm thinking it's a pretty decent truck. When I get the truck again, like day one, when I go to pick the truck up, it was raining that day. So because it was raining, the rain obviously camouflaged stuff out on the outside of the truck you can't really see. Plus, you're not really trying to be too thorough because it's raining. So it worked out perfectly for them. But I noticed when I picked the truck up, I kind of drove right down the street to a TA. And that's why I stayed there for the night. And I said I was gonna get up the next morning and do the inspection. That was one of the things that Landstar needed. They needed the inspection on it before they can continue the process. So, and it had to be done at a Landstar specified location on the Landstar's inspection paperwork form. So I went down to the TA or whatever, and they had it inspected. I wasn't even inspected then. I got the next morning, got ready to inspect it. I noticed that one of the tires was flat, and I'm like, that's odd. Like that's that's weird. So, because the truck was still under warranty for so much, I'm like, man, that's kind of weird. So, I called them, and I was literally like 2 minutes, like the TA in the service center in Shreveport International is like literally 3 minutes apart. Located on the same road, Greenwood Road or whatever. So they was like, oh yeah, just take it down the street. They got a place right down the street, man. They do tires there, see what's up with it, fix it, that was no problem. So when I went over there though, I noticed when I cut the truck off, for like a short period of time, like 5 minutes even, they started back up, like the amount of time you would take to put fuel in to get fuel. If you pull up at a truck stop to get fuel, turn your truck off, get some fuel, get some diesel, get some on DEF or whatever, wash the windows, get back in the truck. I noticed when as soon as I would turn the truck back on, it would be giving me a notification saying trans air low, like transmission air low. The secondary air tank would be down to about 80, 90 or something, to the point where the truck can't move it until the air build back. Now I've been driving in trucks in one way or another since 2008, nearly 20 years, so I never had noticed that. So I did, I've been in a couple internationals over the last recent years. 2018 I was in one, and in 2020 I was in one. They didn't do that. So when I stopped there by the place on the way there, for them to come look at it, whatever, by the dealership, I asked the salesman guy. It was a white guy and a black guy. I don't know the white guy's name. The black guy was my salesman. His name was Chris. I don't know. The white guy just came out there to look at something. Maybe to look at I don't know. But I asked him, the white guy, I was like, man, I noticed that air leak. He gave me a notification when I turned the truck off. And he was, oh, no, that's normal. That's normal. That's just how these trucks is or whatever. So, right there, just lied straight from my face. So when I go get the tire fixed or whatever, now I'm starting to really look around the truck a little bit. I noticed that, again, how the curtains on the interior of the truck, full of, dog hair. And I noticed one of the little convex mirrors on the passenger side mirror, that bottom mirror is cracked. I just started to notice things. Like I noticed that the belt, the main engine belt, serpentine belt or whatever, it was frayed. It had like the little pieces of length, like it's so many strings looking like it's when a belt is getting ready to pop. I noticed that all day one. So it's like these are things that I said again clearly if a truck has been inspected the way they say they're gonna put it through these 108-point inspection and all these or whatever it is that they say on their website. Those are things that you will inspect. You would notice. You would notice the air leak. You would notice the belt bad that eventually had to get replaced. And it was told that the reason why it was bad was because the tensioner was bad. But these are all things you're going to catch. That just fast forward a year. But not even a year. That was like, they just say in March, I finally got on with Landstar. That was started driving with them. When I went to orientation in March, truck drove fine there. On the way back from orientation, and I left the Fort Worth location like on March 7th. First time I noticed like the back, felt like from the back drive tire area there was like a vibration, like a jumpy, like a tire was bad or a rim was. I hadn't noticed it when I first got the truck from Shreveport, from International. Drove it around, drove it home, drove it all the way back to Fort Worth, to Texas for the orientation. I noticed it immediately when I left that orientation site in Fort Worth. The Landstar location, which made me believe that, they tell you to bring your truck to orientation so they can hook up your PLD system and stuff like that. When you get it in orientation, they also get you a room, so you got to leave your truck at the orientation location. So you leave your truck there and then you go to a hotel. So for about 3 days, mine was the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th. And the 4th, 5th, and the 6th was the day I left. That was like the last day where my truck had been there for them nights and just, anybody know these orientation sites, they got regular drivers that be there and, so it ain't like, what I'm saying, somebody is a secure location or your truck, being, protected. Anybody and everybody just could be, while you at the hotel miles away sleeping or doing whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? You follow my drift, so that brings me to like this. What this video is kind of like basically about, because that was like an issue that I'm currently dealing with. Since I've had this truck over last year, may have been so many things. Starting with like the AC that stopped working in May of last year. It was the clutch. I had it replaced one place in Dallas, midnight, somebody, whatever, don't remember. It worked maybe a month or so, then it stopped again. All the way until the AC is still not properly working, until I finally had a mechanic recently. Well, 2 mechanics, one in Pennsylvania when I went and got me some brand new drive tires. They had a AC guy there, and he was like, he was almost 100% certain that it's the compressor itself, because everything else had been checked. He was like, that compressor is bad, man. It's, but then most recent mechanic told him that it was actually the clutch again on this one. The clutch assembly on it is bad. Said the coil inside of it is, it overheats or whatever you got going on with it. So that was the issue here. So I'm still, even a year later, still dealing with that. So just recently, like, the truck clutch went out. Started slipping, started burning, smoke, smelling, whatever. Had to take it to a shop. So I took it to the International in Baton Rouge. Had a couple more things wrong with it. The brake light was staying on, which kept messing with the cruise. I couldn't use the cruise control. Just be sitting at the truck stop, rest area, truck idling, lights off, and then the lights are just, your brake lights are just click on. They'll just pop on by themselves, just be lit up. that little vibration, or I finally was trying to get around and figure out what was wrong with it, and the AC. So they take it to the shop, tell the guy everything that's wrong with it. He said, all right, boom, give me a call back. Said, now we found out, it is the clutch. He said the clutch actuator, and somebody in the background said, well, it's the clutch too. He said, oh, it's the clutch too? He's like, yeah, well, he said, well, he says the clutch and the clutch black dude said it was the clutch actuator. That's like a $40-something part. White guy in the background, Chet, think what I heard say is the clutch too. That's like a $2,300 part. He said, and you got a brake valve that's bad. That's what's causing your air leak when you turn the truck off or whatever, and making the brake light stay on. And he said, the vibration, man, that's the kingpin. So when he first mentioned kingpin, I'm like, I don't know everything about a truck, but I do know that the kingpin is usually on the front of the truck. That's like on your steering axle. So I said, the kingpin. I say, he say, I say, you sure that's I said that was making the back of the truck vibrate, like the back drive tires. And he was like, yeah. I said, well, all right. He was like, the AC or whatever, man. We ain't never get a chance to check that yet. So, we just let you know what the major stuff is, and it's gonna be $11,000, like $130 or something for that. That's to fix everything. Now, granted, I go to doing research. He's saying, yeah, your NTP warranty, it don't cover none of that. So I said, well, let me call NTP, man, just to verify, make sure first. I'll call them. They're like, no, yeah, we don't, that's not covered. Now, I've had this warranty now for a year, and I got the max warranty with everything. Everything you can get on the warranty, I got. But it just miraculously how every time this truck has had a breakdown over the last several months since I've had it, everything but what's actually covered is the breakdown. There's always something that's not under the warranty. So when I had dropped the truck off to him, I sat there with my partner, was right there listening. I was on the phone with my partner, and he was sitting right there waiting on me to, get my stuff and put it in the car. But we was talking on the phone while he was like following me over there, because I was telling him, everything that was on. I was gonna go ahead and let him just fix everything at one time. Stop putting off all the other stuff like the brake lights, and I had tried to fix that myself. I had bought a couple of those brake light switches, but it didn't fix it because it really wasn't that. It was the whole while there was the brake valve that was actually running a brake valve that was sticking, that was bad. So we was talking about different things. I was gonna let him get that. Try to just do everything at one time and try to be done with it. When I had went to another place to get the AC checked, Texas Truck AC in Dallas, I went there maybe like a week or so before. I'm at International now, so they were supposed to be the truck, the AC specialist. Their name is Texas Truck AC, so I go there. They like, oh man, we can't find that wrong with it. We just gonna change the filters and stuff like that. But you do need some batteries. Your battery is bad, whatever. So, granted, I done changed them batteries. All the batteries have been all changed less than 5 months. So I go ahead and get the new batteries. They put, we can warranty the batteries. We're gonna sell you the whole set. They put 4 new batteries in, change the filters. And I don't know why, but that came out to like probably $1,400, and yep, it was exactly $1,428 for 4 batteries and some filters. Give you a few minutes just to let that soak in. $1,428 4 batteries and 3 filters that they claim was the issue, but they didn't find nothing. But I leave there, immediately get in my truck. They pull it out of the bay, go park it on the side, like 5-6 spaces away from the trailer that I had dropped there. I go get in it. I immediately, when I go to bag up to the trailer, I noticed that my air had dropped. It never did that before. Like my truck, it had the air leak that it had from day one. But once the air would build up in the truck, it would stay built up. It wouldn't do that. It wouldn't drop like that until I turned the truck off. So I immediately noticed stuff was wrong. So I go back in there, I'm mad. I tell the guy, man, I'm gonna have to record y'all now because, now I got an air leak that I didn't have when I came here. Y'all done charged me $1,400 for some batteries and some filters, claiming all this labor and all this BS. And now the truck got an air leak that I didn't have. Oh man, we can come out there and we can help you, but we can't do no recording. I said, well, shit, do whatever you're gonna do, come whatever. So I go back out there, and when I get in the truck, the air was up. So I'm like, okay, well maybe I'm tripping. So I kind of go back and forth a little bit in the truck, pull forward, reverse. I leave. So I'm like, okay, well I guess maybe it was just because they did something, messing with the AC or something, that it was something like that. But I was wrong. It was an issue. I left and they had got on this little cycling where it would it would build up and sit at 120, 130 for like 5, maybe even 10 minutes. Then it all of a sudden started dropping slowly back to around 90, 80, even 70, even to the point where it started turning on my alarms and stuff. And I'm talking about on its own with the truck just sitting idling, not in gear, just running. I was under a high load at the time, so I'm like, man, I'm probably gonna end up going to jail or something if I, go back to this place right now. So let me just try to keep moving. Kept moving. So I mentioned all that to say that was another issue that I had mentioned to the guy when I dropped the truck off at International. There was actually 4 things. It was the clutch, obviously, that was burning, that was smoking. When I pulled up there, it was smoking, so they knew it was that. It was the air leak. There was the one I'm just mentioning that Texas Truck AC did. They caused. It was the brake light staying on, and it was the bad vibration. Plus, I wanted to get them the air time, check the AC again, just to see if y'all could hook it up to maybe international stuff and their computers, their software. It might die, they might say something different. So when he gave me the quote for $11,130, I'm thinking, okay, that's gonna fix everything wrong with the truck. All I'm gonna have left now is still the AC. Like they said, we didn't have time to get that dollar or whatever. Ran it here again. There's no warranty. Truck stay in the shop for like a week, from like Monday to Friday. They called me Friday, say the truck was ready. They did road test, it was good. Blase. It's the white guy on the farm again, check. I'm just keeping it a buck. Oh yeah, man, I'm trying to get out of here. I'm trying to hurry up and leave. I'm trying to hurry up and go. So, we gonna come now, or we could just leave your truck outside for you, and you could just, leave the keys, under the, on the dipstick and blah blah blah. So I'm like, well, I could do that, man. If y'all, because you wait till the end of the day at 4:30 to call somebody to say they truck ready, and now you want to rush them to try to hurry up and get there in 30 minutes before y'all leave. So, I'm gonna just leave the truck, under the little, breezeway area, man, just in case it rains or anything. And I'm gonna leave the invoice and everything inside the truck. All right, cool. That's what they do. I go get the truck the next day, Saturday morning or something. The truck not under the breezeway, is right next to the street almost. So that was a lie. Second thing, I get in the truck, I notice no invoice or nothing in there. No paperwork. Nothing to say what the work was, what work they completed. I leave in the truck and drive to my storage area where I keep the truck at. First, I turned it out, turned the truck off, restarted it. When I first got in the truck and started it, I noticed out the gate already that the air was better. It hadn't dropped all the way. It was still up. So that was a plus. The truck was shifting decent. That was a plus. It was good. That was good. Because I wasn't going no more than maybe like 6 miles to where I keep the truck at. I never really notice anything else. Like I wasn't really paying attention to the air dropping. She wasn't doing it because, like I said, it usually it'll give you about 10 minutes, but it'll fill up. It'll wait like 10 minutes and then it'll kind of start slowly dropping. So apparently it was on the upside when I left in the truck. So I didn't notice it then. Sunday, I was going to leave with a load that I have now that I had been sitting on since that Friday when I took my truck since that Monday when I took my truck to International. That was Labor Day. I had drove that load out of Largo, Florida, left with it like Thursday or something like that. Stopped in Louisiana like Friday, stayed around that area, got up that Sunday, at Monday, on Labor Day, and drove straight to the dealership, straight to the International. I told the agent en route at that time that I was having an issue with the truck, man. The clutch was starting to slip. Get this load repowered. They refused, like, oh man, we can't, find anybody. We'll try to work on it, try to get it repowered. So I sat on the same load from all that time since that Thursday when I got it out of Florida, or Friday, it might have Thursday or Friday, whenever it was. All the way until the truck finally, was done the next Friday. So I thought. So I leave in the truck. I'm on my way. I didn't make it 2 miles from where I leave it parked at. On my way to head to where I keep the trailer at, the truck stopped shifting gears. So I'm looking at the air gauges and stuff, and the air gauges dropped. They done dropped to like 80 at this point. So by the time, when I stopped, it's like a red light almost, they done got to the point now it's the alarm popping in, check transmission and check air low, and so I got to pull over, put my emergency flashes on. At this point, I'm thinking they did something to the transmission when they was like, messing with the clutch. Something they didn't do. So I'm sitting there, I'm trying to be calm, whatever. Of course, I'm mad, but I lay there and took me a few minutes. I'm watching the air, and I noticed that the air was kind of doing the same thing it was doing at first. With what I told them it was doing, where it kind of build up, then it kind of drop down. It'll stay drop down for like 4 or 5 minutes, then it start gradually building back up again. So I said, well, okay, but I'm not sure if it's that or if it's something else. So I'm looking for a tow truck to tow me back to the dealership. And as I'm doing that, I noticed the air just started building back up again. So I said, man, that's the same issue that I told the people about, that I thought they fixed. So when I realized that what it was, I was kind of happy because I'm like, okay, well, it ain't nothing, it's not the transmission or nothing. And I've already, paid them for this. So I take the truck back. It's Sunday, drop it off, get a call from them. Next morning, hey man, I see what's going on, Mr. Franklin. I see you bring the truck back. I'm like, yeah, man, that the air that got busy, I had told y'all about, when the truck, I still got the truck. The truck, it broke down on me basically. Okay, we gonna look at it. So he called me back in like an hour, 2 hours or whatever. He's like, yeah, we found the problem. It was the purge valve. I said, okay, so it's good. He's like, yeah. I said, so y'all not gonna charge me for that then, since I had already basically, paid for that, right? Nah, man. This, we had to charge you for it because we fixed the other air leak that you mentioned, the one with the brake valve that was messed up, which air leak. You know, when you turn it, that would cause them brake lights to stay on and all that kind of brake would cause. So I'm not even going to argue with them at this point. I'm like, I guess you're right. How much that's going to be? It's going to be 386. Part was like 165 or something. And charge you for labor or something. It's like 199 for labor or vice versa. Part 199 labor just for like an hour, like 165 or something like that or something. So I'm like, all right, man. I go get the truck. I said, make sure that y'all put that invoice on the truck, because y'all didn't put it in that last time. Oh, all right, guys. So I go get the truck. You know, I leave there. I know it's like a part of my dash. So like it was kind of pulled up a little bit. I kind of snapped it back in place. So I ain't gonna let that bother me. Go keep it moving. Everything seemed to be running good on the truck now. No complaint. I noticed though that my steering felt a little tight when I first had left. So when I got back to Baton Rouge, got back to my truck area. In the meantime, I haven't got to mention this. I had the day I had got it from them that Saturday and drove it back to my storage area. I had got another mechanic to come over there and check on the area. This is the guy, I know locally. That's who told me that it was the clutch assembly on the compressor that's actually bad, the coil in it. So I said, okay, that sounds about right. Now the Russian guy said that in Pennsylvania, and now he's saying that that's what it is. That's why can't nobody else find I was wrong with it. Because everything, it's charged up, everything good. It's that clutch assembly, the clutch on the front of it, So what needs to be changed. So anyway, that day I was looking around like, my steering feel tight. So I'm looking on the steering, and I can see like this brand new like cross member going from the left tire to the right tire. Just look like it's brand new cross member. So my mind, I'm like, is that the kingpin? Like what the? I'm thinking now, like that's why my steering feel, it feel better. It feel better, kind of, it feel good and bad at the same time. Maybe because I've been driving the truck for a whole year and a half, 15 months, and I'm used to it one way, and now it feel a little different. But fast forward to now, it's Monday when I go get the truck. I'm trying to find the clutch, the compressor. I can't find it nowhere. Not even the clutch assembly. So I gotta leave now. Like, man, let me go ahead. Because these agents still won't get rid of this load. I'm still trying. Even when I told them I had to take the truck back to the shop, right? When I got it that Friday, was for the leave Sunday, truck breakdown. I call the agents again and say, man, the truck gotta go back in the shop. Y'all need to get somebody to get this load. It's been over a week now. He tell me, well, man, nobody gonna want to take that load. He said I could post it on the load board, but ain't nobody gonna take it. I'm like, that's interesting. Why? So I must be the only dummy then. Like, why am I taking it then? So he was like, yeah, ain't nobody gonna want to take it. So we already got a driver, me and you. So if it get there, eventually, if it get there, that's better than it not getting there at all. So if we take it off you and put it on a board and nobody touch it, nobody want it, then it ain't gonna never get there. It's just gonna be sick. But even if it take you another week, 2 weeks, whatever, I'm like, man, you see, like, yeah, whenever you can, we want you to deliver it. That's basically what he's saying. Like, you gonna deliver it. All this weird. So that's weird. So I finally get to the truck, get to the trailer, knowing I'm gonna have to beat the heat because I know the AC it's gonna be hot. Got to deal with that. Get in the truck, pull out of Port Island, Louisiana, get on I-10. As soon as I get my speed, it's the first time I think I've gotten it up, because I've been driving in the city. Gotten up over 60 miles per hour, like 65. Soon as speed get up, What do I feel? You already guessed. That violent vibration again coming from the back of the truck, from the drive tire area, where I told the guy the air was coming from in the first place. So that's basically the what this video is basically was about, man. When do it get to a point to where it's now it's negligence on these shops, and it becomes like, and it's time to just start, fighting with the pen. And when is it a good time to just say, man, you know what, we got to just start. It's time to sue. It's time to get a lawyer on these situations, because it's just back-to-back stuff. Like it's just, again, when I took the truck to Texas AC, I go in there, you charge me for batteries that, and then I leave there, I go there to get the AC fixed. I get 4 new batteries because those batteries still have been acting up. I had a previous video mentioning how I had to get a starter. They charged me for a brand new starter, $1,800 for a starter in Pennsylvania, because the truck wouldn't start after I had them got 4 batteries already replaced. But the guy was like, man, I checked the batteries. This was in Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I got up one morning, the truck wouldn't start. He said, I checked the battery's good as the starter. I get the starter replaced. Next day, truck do the exact same thing it did at first. So when I get into Texas, the guy was like, and I'm telling him what was going on. He said, man, I would get all 4 batteries changed. I'm telling you, man, that's what we can guarantee. We can warranty the batteries. It's the battery. The batteries. I'm telling you, I'm like, all right, man, I know how to change all these batteries one by one, so just change all the batteries. So they changed all the batteries. That were like $600 and something for the 4 batteries, interstate batteries, top of the line batteries. Supposed to be, labor was like $360. We had 9 right there, plus the labor and the diagnostics for the AC was like $200 and something for them to diagnostic, for them to just say, well, they didn't come up with nothing, but they couldn't find that. And now I ended up totaling like $1,428. Batteries, labor, diagnostics, filters. And I leave there with a gift, which was another air leak that I had to eventually pay $368 for. Nope, I'm lying. $414 because I paid with a credit card, and there was 3% on the credit card. So the $398 went to $414, or $368 went to $414, whatever it was. So they got me out $14 more $100. Basically for more $100 that was, from the Texas AC situation. So when is it like? So now I'm riding on the highway. Obviously, I'm trying to get this load delivered this morning in Denver. We obviously don't got no AC because I haven't been able to find the compressor everywhere. Looking everywhere, nobody's seeming to have the one I have. They have compressors, but I was trying to find just the clutch assembly because the guy told me that that's all I really needed. He was like, if you just change the clutch assembly on the front, you ain't got to lose no freon or anything. We don't even have to take the compressor off. We just taking the front of it off, just changing the front. So that's kind of what I was looking for in Baton Rouge before I left. I was just trying to find the clutch assembly. So AC still not working. It comes on when it wants to. It engage. Then I guess when the coil gets overheated in the clutch, it'll stop. Then it'll be out for a couple of days. It won't come back on or whatever. So I'm riding on the highway. I got the vibration going on. I got all the work done on the front, the kingpins or whatever else you said you did, but you didn't fix what I told you the problem was. And I got a witness that was right there when I'm telling you where it's coming from. Said witness was there again because I was at said witness house when you called me to say the truck was ready. So they again overheard me because I had them on speakerphone when they said we changed the kingpin. No, when he called to tell me what the diagnostics was. He said when we when we looked to figure out what that vibration was, it was the kingpin. And the said witness heard me ask you the kingpin. I said, so is that what's causing the back of the truck to be vibrating, like the back drive tires area, like on the passenger side? He said yes. I said, so I went ahead and approved him to do the work, and I still got the problem. So that's what I'm saying. So what is it now? Is it a lawyer? What are we doing now? Because now if I go back and say, hey man, y'all change the kingpins, all this on the front end, but the truck, as soon as I get on the highway, it starts to vibrate, the vibration again. So what you gonna say? Oh, I'm gonna bring it back in. We're gonna go check it out and see what it is. Oh, it's this, and now you gotta pay us for that when I've already paid you for something that you said it was. So that's basically, again, man, what this video is about, man. I feel like, it was one of those situations where I feel like, I got, it's a big scam going on that I got targeted. I feel like this truck was a target truck from day one. I don't know why, I don't know how, again, I also feel like, these shops, I feel like all these people work together. I feel like, I come from the streets back in the days where it was understood that a lot of time when people, from certain communities get certain charges levied against them, and they go to these courts, if you don't have money and you can't pay for a good lawyer, even sometimes with a good lawyer, that these judges and these prosecutors and these district attorneys and these public defenders, they all work together. They cool with each other. That's been understood. We've been knowing it. So it's like, I noticed a certain, that, once you go into these shops like these Loves and TAs and a lot of these people, they ask you out the gate, how you paying? Are you an owner operator? Okay, what's your name? What's your truck number? Are you still? And see, once they get that information, they already know what they're working with. See, if you coming in there and you're a company driver, they know they ain't finna really play with them companies like that. You see what I'm saying? Because they already know that Warner and Swift and US Express and all these major Prime and all them companies who got big lawyers behind them, you ain't finna get them like that. Martin and, you know what I'm saying? They finna lay there and you try to, when you go in there for to get work done, they gonna fix what's wrong with that truck. And that's the reason why for the 20-something years, like I say, almost 20 years, I was driving a company truck. Man, I was in a shop maybe 5 times. And I'm talking about driving, these company trucks for years, like, you know what I'm saying, the whole year, man, you going to the shop when they tell you to go to get the 90-day inspection. Or when I was at Martin, I think it was like once a month. You had to go to a shop and they do like a little inspection, but it wasn't because stuff was breaking on the truck. Man, with this truck, I have everything on this truck was a new breakdown that I've never experienced before when I was a company driver. Everything. Like, started with, like, again, the AC. I never had AC issues with company trucks. The door not wanting to open. I never had to go get a door latch and assembly put inside the door just to get out the door. You know what I'm saying? I never had the brake light staying on. We're going on the highway, you can't use the cruise control because the brakes keep coming on. I never had an issue when you turn the truck off, the air drops, but you got to sit there and wait for the air to build back. Never had driving down the highway, truck vibrating, like breaking all your TV in the back on the rack, on the mount, on the wall mount, because it's shaking so much. Never had the clutch go off. Never had to get a water pump. Never had to get new batteries. Over and over again. Never had to get a starter. I feel like they know who you is, man. Once you go in there and you say your name, What's your name? Or Franklin. What's the truck number? Blase, blase. How you paying? You on operator. You paying? And now from shop to shop, they got you. They already know. You know, when I went to TA for the get, I had to get a rim. Had a crack in the rim. Never had that before. It was one of my steel rims. A real little crack in the rim. Just never even seen that before. The only time I ever saw a crack on the rim was in the pre-trip instructor guide or something when they would tell you on your rims you can't have any cracks or illegal welds, anything like that. The only time I ever even knew of a crack on a rim. I'm at the TA in Shreveport. I got a DOT inspection, a steel rim, and a PM done. And I got the guys to check the batteries again. They tell me, oh yeah, we checked the batteries. The battery is good. It's the alternator. Just like they lied in Pennsylvania and said, oh, we checked the battery is good. It's the starter. So, and for some strange reason, but these all white technicians and white people. So that was, I don't know. That's why I was making a comment earlier about the guy checking them. I was like, when he mentioned that he was going to leave the paperwork in the truck and leave the truck in a certain spot. And the one guy is saying it's the clutch actuator, but he come in the background and say, no, it's the clutch. It's like these are all of the technicians that's giving me all these astronomical figures. It's like it just, you know, you go into some of these dealerships, some of these truck stops, some of these places, man, they be having all kind of people. But you know, I'm a black man, so you know they have black technicians, black people working these. It's like I go in there, it'll be like a lot of black guys working. You know, when I walk in and look around, but it's like all of a sudden, mysteriously, all of a sudden, white people come. It'll be now it's a white person at the desk that's checking me out, and there's a white people that's in the Bay Area now that's doing the work on the truck, which I found kind of just weird. Because I was wondering, I'm like, I don't know, you know, is that like because they don't want me to ask the brother like, hey man, you know what's going on? Like, is this really what I need? Like, because these people here, like, they're robbing me clearly. It's like all these wild prices, but these big prices, and I'm not trying to, you know, like I'm cool with everybody because I don't have an issue with that, and everybody know that, you know, I'm friends with white guys, like real friends, like good friends, like, you know, so they know it ain't. But I'm just I'm curious as to understand why it seemed like I've noticed that happen. So it's just kind of like, and they keep telling me is this or is that. So when I leave from getting the DOT inspection, getting the rim, getting the PM, all that stuff done, I had shot over to Texas Truck AC then. I had a load to deliver in Texas. When I got there, when I was getting ready to leave, I had noticed this big metal wrench looking thing with like a strap on it inside my truck. Like a big thing, like a big old, I don't know what the hell it is. Almost like something you would use to kind of like put a tire, like to break the tire off of a rim, but bigger. And shaped like a big fork or something, like a fork you eat with. And so I called a guy who was walking from my truck. I said, hey man, y'all left your tool in here. And he said, that's not our tool, man. He said, that was in your truck. That was in the truck under your hood. So we pulled it in the bay for the check the AC out and stuff. I said, you kidding? He said, nah, it was under the hood. That's why we put it back in your truck. You see what I'm saying? So that's what made me, you know, segue into the part about owner operators, and you leave out of one shop and you got another issue. So now I'm thinking that when I went to get the PM done, the rim, all that stuff done, the guy lied right there and said that it was we check the batteries, man, it's alternating. You say you got the batteries changed, you say you got a new starter, and it's still not starting right, so it must be the alternator. So I'm assuming that what was supposed to happen was I was supposed to leave driving on the highway. That big ass wrench thing fall down and drop down either into my fan belt front of the engine, tearing some shit up, or breaking or falling down in between a tire or something and blowing a tire or something out, and now you back on the side of the highway with a, you know what I'm saying? Because you're an operator. They got your name, they know he gonna pay for it because he's already said he gonna pay for it. Every time he came in here, he ain't using Landstar. He ain't saying Landstar getting up, you know, giving them the authorization code to do the work. So I think it's a scam. I think they working together. The people in these shops, I think they scamming you. Same way when I left from, Texas Truck AC, I go in there for one thing, I leave out there immediately with an issue. Not even pull off their property with an issue that I didn't have before I go in there. When I threatened to want to record the conversation because I said, man, everything you told me since I've been sitting here, I've been fair, I've been agreeing to it. Now I got another issue, and I need to document what I'm telling you was not an issue before I came in here. Oh no, we'll help you, man. You can't record nothing. So now they know I want that. Well, how you gonna pay for it? Oh, you paying for it yourself for this work to get done? So now they gonna give you another issue. So you gotta come back in their shop to get more work done, and now they finna give you a quote for that. Or it's this, that was wrong with it, and it's gonna be this much labor again. Over and over. By the time I'm done with this truck, it's gonna be a damn near new truck. All the stuff I done actually had to pay to get fixed on a truck that came from a dealership. International Truck Sales in Shreveport, Louisiana. It ain't even about being a snitch no more, being a whistleblower, because it's obvious and clear there's something going on. But from day one, like I say, very day one, picking the truck up, the guy already got broke mirrors, flat tires, broken belt. Day one, air leak, day one, before the truck even leave. When they hand me the keys to the truck, it had those issues on it. Immediately. Day one. When the guy came out there, how you doing, man? Like I said, it's raining, so I'm trying to stay out the rain, gave me the keys. I get in the truck, start the truck up. It had those issues. The air leak and everything was building. Like I said again, I didn't notice it the first day because I'm thinking, okay, the truck probably been sitting out for a while, so the air gonna build up, and once it builds, that's normal. No, day one. So where I'm asking them day one about that, I asked them about the belt day one. I called it the guy Chris Grill or whatever. I'm like, man, that belt on that truck, that belt kind of bad. Matter of fact, I was in the same international dealership that just did all this $11,000 worth of work on my truck, right? Then, when I first got the truck, I drove the truck straight to Baton Rouge. Like I said, I got it from Shreveport. I forgot about this. I drove the truck straight to that dealership, the ITA, O'Neill Lane in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And they were supposed to get the belt done then. I was trying to get that belt covered. They were supposed to change it. The guy told me then, the same guy, Chet, who worked there, I remember this. He said, man, it could be the belt. He said, we don't have that belt here in the stop. He said, but man, you could be changing that belt, and it could be the tensioner or something that's bad. You don't know what's making the belt go bad. He was like, we don't have it. So they was on the phone together right then. My salesman person, Christopher Greer, and the guy Chet. Because they were trying to locate where that belt was. And he was like, well, they may have it. He said, man, they got a service center directly across the street from us in Shreveport. Now you can bring it by there, man, and if you pass it this way, and see if they can do it over there, man, And I said, well, you know what, that'll work, because I got to pass that way coming to orientation in Fort Worth. Long story short, I eventually don't get the belt changed and sitting in Macon, Georgia, and it decides they want to pop. Finally go ahead and break. And yeah, I had to get a belt and I had to get a tensioner, because that's what caused the belt to break. And I had to pay $1,000 out of pocket. Something that was day one, a day one issue with the truck. Thing that they told me was normal, like the brake valve. My brakes were perfect. I had been checking them. I had been doing brake checks on the truck. Fanning the brake, air pressure down. The brakes wasn't losing pressure. I wasn't. The brakes was good on that respect. But these are issues that I'm thinking, maybe that's just normal. Maybe it's just normal. Maybe I'm tripping. Clearly, it wasn't normal. Once the guy fixed it, they just charged me the $414 for the, well, not that issue. That was an issue that Texas truck should be reimbursing me for. But and I should call them and tell them that I got a $400 bill that they need to reimburse me for. Because that was the issue that I told the guy I was going to record him over. He said, we'll help you, man, but you can't record us, that issue. But the other issue that the guy that they actually did fix with the brake light staying on and stuff like that, it actually fixed it. Because the brakes, the air not doing it no more. Truck be off all day, all night, get up, start it up, the air still build up. So that wasn't normal. So the guy, again, it was a black guy talking to me. Christopher Greer was my salesperson. The white guy came out. When I went over there about the tire, they were checking the tires and stuff. That the next morning, first just a day after I got the keys, I was still in Shreveport. I needed to get that inspection done for Landstar. So I needed to make sure the tires and everything. I'm like, man, the tire, you got a flat tire, I'm not gonna better pay no inspection. And I need to handle that right quick. The guy, they come out there looking at the tire, look like the valve or something maybe. They had the more auto inflation things on them, so maybe one of those might be, loose or something. You can go down the street down there to this other shop where you, man, and get it checked out. I say, hey, man, just the white guy. I asked the white guy, I say, I noticed, also know when I turn the truck off, when it's off for even like 15 minutes, like when I started back up, it's like the air had kind of dropped to like 90 or something. Then you got to, take a minute for it to build back up. I said, that's normal? Oh no, that's normal. That's normal, man. Yeah. I mean, that's just how the old trucks are, but that's how they are. I'm like, you show you like, yeah, that's normal, man. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, okay, it's normal then. So there again, like you just a lie to the face. It wasn't normal. So when is it time? Like when do you get to the point? When do you get past the point of, okay, man, I'm just trying to be cool with everybody, bro, and I ain't trying to offend nobody, you dig? And I want to be, like a real street nigga, like they say, and solid, and don't say nothing, and don't rat. Man, I'm not no gang member. I've never been a gang member. I've never been associated with any gangs, and I've never been a street nigga. I've never been a nigga, ever. And I've been out there, in the jungle before and done some things out there in the street, yeah. But I've never been one of those people that gotta take anything and not tell. That's gang rules. That's gang codes. I'm a 911 dollar. I'm a. So when does it get to the point, man, where you gotta go ahead and just start suing people and getting lawyers into this stuff to go back and track down all this stuff, like the truck from day one? It'd probably be too late now to prove any of that stuff if they actually ever had, because they lied. They clearly lied when they gave me that inspection report that I could barely read, from Shreveport. you know, on one of those old yellow like carbon like papers or whatever. So and it looked like they gave you a copy of it. So it's kind of like all the check mark that's on everything. You know, can't really see it, but you see that everything is being checked as passed. And you know, when you go to like for Landstar, you know, get that inspection. For them, they want the basic stuff. They're not trying to go in depth on things. They just want to make sure you got good tires, your lights working, your horns working, you know, the basic stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're not really trying to go and do a thorough inspection like International was supposed to do. All the things they mentioned they did, you know, but and they did a real inspection like they said they did. There's no way you're going to inspect the truck, not see that belt, and know that okay, that's something that we got to change it. There's no way this guy pick up a truck, let's just say February 13th or something, drive straight to Baton Rouge and go straight to the dealership like on the 15th or something. When you get to Baton Rouge, they're like, you know, I need a belt. I need y'all to change this belt. I just noticed that it was, you know, the belt. You know. And I should have, you know, the reason why I didn't do it in Shreveport again, because it was raining and it was probably when I was looking at the belt under the hood, the belt may have been at an angle or somewhere where I didn't see it. Didn't see those threads or whatever. That's possible. But it was a bad belt nonetheless. And just all these other breakdowns, like, you know, all the other breakdowns, the water pumps, you know, the clutches, you know, and I'm an experienced driver. I know how to drive a truck. I know these trucks are automatics. I know they still shift and operate manual. It's almost, you know, manual. Like, so you got to steer when you're slowing down, let them catch their gears and, you know, let it downshift, let it do its thing without, you know, you got to drive it almost like it's a manual without you physically shifting it. So just all these, just multiple. So I'm thinking, is this, you know, so you're making me, so now I'm starting to think everything. Is this really a fucking 2021 truck? Because it's acting like it's a 2001, with all the breakdown, it's like it's a, like how old is this truck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm starting to think everything. So that's what I'm like, you know, now I'm starting to just think about getting, you know, to investigate everything. Like, you know, I just don't see how, you know, a truck that's that's 5 years old at the time when I got it, in 2001, I'm doing the paperwork in December 2024. It was not even really 5 years yet, and they got all that stuff wrong with it. So I don't know. Right now I'm wondering. I don't know if I'm gonna contact International back in Baton Rouge. I don't want to get into it, nobody. You know, but I also don't want to hear anything short of, man, bring it back in and we gonna fix it for free. We gonna fix that problem for you. You know, I know there's something else, you know, with my APU that I had gotten fixed. Got this service. Had no issues. I noticed I had been, you know, when I would turn my truck off, you know, and let it sit over, you know, sometimes without idling, I would use my power inverter to watch the battery voltage, you know, make sure it's not dropping too low. And if it dropped down, if it been the truck been out for too long and it dropped down to like 12.4, like 12.5, something like that, I turn the APU on, let it run, and, you know, and watch the APU volts go back up, 12.5, 12.6, 12.7, 12.8. All the way back up, you know, let it run for a while, charge the battery, everything back up, and you know, that's it. I know it's the last couple of days, and I've only been in the truck now for a couple of days since I went back and got it Monday or Tuesday. Kind of noticed yesterday when the truck was off, I looked at the batteries like, and it was down like 12.5 or something. It had been on for a while, 12.4. So I turned the APU on, let it run. It had been running for like maybe 10 minutes. I looked down at power inverter, it was still showing 12.4, as if it's not charging. It wasn't charging the batteries. Got up this morning, did the same thing. I checked it again to see what it was still down, wasn't charging like it usually. It was immediate. As soon as I turn the APU on, the batteries, you can start seeing the power inverter voltage going up. So I go out there, open the APU house and look around. I noticed where like the bottom of it, like where the filter at, it was kind of turned up like a little eye to a point where like it almost not able to, the little bottom hole where it can't really breathe it. I don't know if it was like that or not. I checked the capacitor because when I got it serviced 2 months ago, I put a brand new alternator on it, and a brand new capacitor. Now I leave International, getting this work done on the truck, and day or two later, I checked the APU. It's like it ain't charging the batteries now. So what are the odds of all these things? Going to a shop to get one thing fixed, leave out there with something else broke. So that what this video is gonna be titled, man. Like, when is it time to start suing people? When is it time to start contacting lawyers? And allowing them to just take care of this stuff for you, man. Go ahead and start investigating these people. Seeing how often is this happening. Is it just an isolated situation where it's just me? And then if it's just me, I want to know why. Why is it just me? Why am I being targeted like that? What is it on my name? Oral Franklin, when he looked my name up in the system, it's like, it's okay, let's target this guy. Because I'm here for it. Like, I'm not ducking nothing. If I've done anything in my life, I want to face it. That's a right. That's one of your constitutional rights. It's the right to a fair and speedy trial. So if I've ever been, accused of something that someone said I did, then it's my right for me to be able to face that charge and fight that charge and whatever. So if somebody lied on me or said something, man, whatever the case, let's go ahead and get that out of the way, because I like my money. I like my freedom. I like my freedoms. So let's get that clear. So whatever that is, because all these breakdowns and all these little situations that's going on, man, they gotta stop. And I'm right there at the verge, on the verge of getting them suits involved. You dig? Obtaining counsel, man. It's going down. It got to happen. It ain't over with. You dig?